Every song you've ever loved began as a spark, an idea too fleeting to hold, a melody too haunting to ignore, a rhythm that lingers in your mind long after the music fades. But how does that spark become a song that moves millions? What transforms raw inspiration into a polished track that hits your ears perfectly, that makes your heart race, that stays in your soul forever? Welcome to the hidden world of music production, a world where creativity, technology, and emotion collide. Today, we'll take you behind the scenes, from the first whispered idea to the final mastered track, revealing the secrets that make your favorite music unforgettable. From intimate bedroom studios to towering professional control rooms, the process of making music is both art and science, precision and chaos, solitude and collaboration. And while the final product may seem effortless, every note, every beat, every breath has been meticulously crafted. So sit back, put on your headphones, and let's dive into the journey of sound, rhythm, and emotion. Concept and inspiration. The journey begins long before instruments are tuned or software is launched. It begins in the mind of the artist, the spark of an idea, a fleeting emotion, a personal experience that demands to be heard. Inspiration is unpredictable. Sometimes it comes in a quiet moment, walking through the city streets, sitting by a window, or staring at a blank page. Sometimes it comes in chaos, a sudden chord in the middle of the night, the rhythm of footsteps on a pavement, or a melody hummed unconsciously while showering. Songwriters often capture these sparks with small tools, a notebook, a voice memo on a smartphone, or a quick sketch of a melody on a piano. These fragments, small and fragile, are the foundation of a song. Even a single note can carry the emotional weight that will define the track. Some artists focus first on the emotional core, asking themselves, what should the listener feel? Others experiment technically, exploring sounds, chord structures, or rhythmic patterns. The intersection of concept and emotion is what gives a song its identity, and no amount of technology can replicate the raw inspiration of that first spark. At this stage, collaboration often begins. A lyricist might bring words inspired by personal experience, while a producer translates those feelings into chords, textures, and rhythms. It is this dialogue between concept and execution that starts to shape a track into something tangible. Composition and arrangement. With a concept in hand, the song begins to take shape through composition and arrangement. Composition is more than notes on a page. It is the careful crafting of tension, release, and emotion. Digital audio workstations, DAWs, have revolutionized composition, allowing artists to experiment with instruments, effects, and virtual sounds at the click of a button. A single piano riff can be layered with electronic beats, synth textures, or live recorded instruments. Each element is considered for its emotional impact. Will this drum pattern make the chorus feel explosive? Will this string section bring warmth to the bridge? Arrangement is the architecture of the song. Every section, intro, verse, chorus, bridge, outro, is deliberate. A subtle change, a slight pause, or a new layer of instrumentation can transform the feeling of a song. Minimalistic arrangements create intimacy and vulnerability, while dense layers of instruments and effects create grandeur, excitement, and energy. During this stage, producers also explore dynamics, how volume, rhythm, and texture change throughout the song. A well-arranged track takes listeners on a journey, evoking emotion not just through melody and lyrics, but through the flow of sound itself. Here, experimentation is key. Loops are created, discarded, and recreated. Chords are shifted, beats are rearranged, and through it all, the song evolves, growing closer to the vision of the artist. Sound design and technology. Modern music production is as much about technology as creativity. Sound design is the process of shaping audio elements to create textures, moods, and emotional resonance. Synthesizers, samplers, and software instruments allow producers to craft sounds that could never exist in the real world. A bass line might combine a deep analog sub with a digital texture to create power and warmth. Reverb and delay can create vast sonic landscapes, making a small room sound like a stadium or a cathedral. Every decision, from EQ to compression, affects the emotional impact of a song. High-pass filters remove unnecessary frequencies. Subtle saturation adds warmth. Automation moves sounds across the stereo field to guide the listener's ear. It is a science of perception, but always guided by artistic intent. Microphones capture nuances in vocals or instruments that are almost imperceptible, yet critical to conveying emotion. Even cable choice, preamps, and room acoustics influence how the music feels. In this stage, technical skill meets intuition. Producers tweak sounds for hours, testing how a synth patch resonates with a vocal, how drum patterns interplay with bass, how silence enhances tension. Technology amplifies emotion, but it is the creative instinct that gives a song its soul. Recording and performance. Even with digital tools, human performance remains irreplaceable. Vocalists, guitarists, drummers, and session musicians bring life to the song in ways no software can. Every breath, every inflection, every subtle timing change carries emotional weight. Recording is both a technical and emotional exercise. Multiple takes capture different nuances, from powerful crescendos to whispered lines. Producers often comp takes, selecting the best phrases and combining them into a single cohesive performance. Microphone placement, acoustics, and performer energy shape the sound. The room becomes an instrument in itself. A vocal sung in a dry booth sounds different from the same voice recorded in a live hall. Producers manipulate these variables to achieve authenticity, the emotion of the performance translated directly into the track. Collaboration is crucial. Musicians feed off each other's energy. A drum fill inspires a bass line, a chord change sparks a lyric. In these moments, the song transcends notes and rhythms. It becomes a living, breathing experience. Mixing and mastering. Once recorded, the raw tracks move into the mixing stage, where balance, clarity, and emotional impact are crafted. Mixing engineers adjust volume, EQ, compression, panning, and effects so that every element has its place in the soundscape. The goal is clarity and cohesion. Vocals must sit perfectly above instruments, bass must fill without overpowering, and highs must sparkle without harshness. The mix defines how listeners experience the emotion intended by the artist. Mastering is the final step. Tracks are fine-tuned to translate across all devices, Earbuds, headphones, car stereos, club systems. Every kick drum, every vocal inflection, every synth layer is optimized for impact. Mastering ensures consistency and power, giving a song the polish that makes it feel professional and emotionally resonant. The final product is seamless, but every decision in mixing and mastering was deliberate. What feels effortless to the listener is the result of hours, sometimes days, of meticulous work. Emotion and connection. At its core, music is about emotion and connection. Every song, no matter how technically perfect, succeeds only if it resonates with the listener. The human ear perceives emotion not just in melody or lyrics, but in timing, texture, and dynamic contrast. Music production is a journey of creativity, technology, and emotion. It is the translation of human experience into sound waves that can move millions. From the first spark of inspiration to the final mastered track, every beat, note, and phrase is designed to tell a story, to evoke a feeling, to connect hearts. So the next time you hear a song that moves you, remember, behind every note is an invisible world of artistry, science, and passion. A journey that began with an idea and ended in your soul engagement prompt. Which song moved you the most recently and why? Comment below, and don't forget to subscribe for more behind-the-scenes stories from the world of music and creativity.